Hey everybody, welcome to this very delayed edition of One on One with Jeff Meacham. Sorry again for the lack of wrestling rewind and the huge delay in getting this up today. Just craziness scheduling, and it's probably going to be the same this coming week, to be honest with you, with the Kings opening weekend, with Rocky Horror's 25th birthday at Long Beach Cast edition, with the trip to Pennsylvania coming up very soon, and just I'm all over the place. So I apologize to you guys. I will do my best to bring the shows to you more on time in the very near future. But for today, I have two questions, both from the same person, and they both pertain to my Pennsylvania trip because they're both from Greg Cherry. Um, I figured I'd go ahead and answer Greg's questions as a tribute to the fact that as of this taping, 6 days, I will be in Pennsylvania. So I'm very looking forward to going to the trip, and the airport part, not so much, because I got to be at LAX at whatever it is, 4:30, 4 o'clock, whatever it's going to be for a 6:07 a.m. flight. But we did what we had to do, right? Okay. Greg's question from before came before the premiere of One on One, and I was telling him I would address it at some point, and I figured why not today. And he basically, I don't have the question right in front of me. I accidentally deleted the conversation. Sorry, but it basically came down to what would have been the next step, or what would have I have done with booking had the Alliance won the Survivor Series storyline in 2001 and not the WWF. And honestly, as much as I was rooting for the Alliance throughout that whole scenario, because I really missed WCW and I definitely missed ECW, I knew that the WWF would not allow the outside invasion force to conquer and rule all in Survivor Series and win that ultimate battle. You gotta remember, the whole thing from the beginning was one big set of botched booking. It was just ridiculous how they rushed that everything from May of 2001 until November. They just went right through without even blinking an eye. It seemed like it was there and gone in a quick hurry compared to the expectations that everybody had of, oh my gosh, we have WWF versus WCW. We have this huge interpromotional storyline that has been laid at our laps as the result of the sale back on March 23rd, 2001, and now we're rushing through everything. But I think the biggest key was the fact that they didn't get the heavy hitters. I'm talking about like guys like Scott Steiner and Ric Flair and Diamond Dallas Page and Kevin Nash and even Hulk Hogan and Goldberg, and all those guys did not come over right away. They were all locked up with AOL Time Warner contracts, and the WWF, despite having made Vince McMahon a billionaire, was not willing to shill out the money to get those key players. So the two main WCW stars. I take that back. DDP did show up. I take that back. The two WCW stars did show up. The big ones were Booker T and DDP. And DDP got into this dumb Undertaker storyline that kept him out of action for a while. When he came back, he was positively Page. Booker had a little bit more longevity. Let's be honest. Booker was in WWE and in TNA for the next, God, 9 years, 10 years before he settled into being an announcer and then the general manager of SmackDown. So really, Booker was the only one that really got a clear cut, well deserved shot from a WCW outsider's perspective. Had the Alliance actually won that storyline, I probably would have had Shane and Stephanie make Mr. McMahon beg and plead to please have my company back type thing. And then it could have led into the Rumble where, they could have another big feud head up between November and even January, even WrestleMania. Could have had the big final showdown at WrestleMania between the WWF and WCW. Have a whole year-long storyline between, because you remember Shane and Vince fought at WrestleMania 17, WWF versus WCW chairmans, and then it could have resolved itself at 18. But again, they botched that one. The other question Greg had was regarding what will it take now to create another wrestling boom period. I think I mentioned this on a earlier episode of One on One. Don't quote me because I don't go back and watch the shows. Once I tape them, that's it. I don't go back and watch myself. um, I honestly think that a boom period is not in the works because there is no direct competition between WWE and fill in the blank here. The boom period in the 80s was Vince McMahon gutting all these other promotions and running roughshod over everybody and ruling the world. In the 90s, the Attitude Era came as a result of having to compete directly with WCW. right now there is no real, kick in the butt for Vince McMahon and his company to really inspire themselves, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to really do something different and really think outside of that proverbial box and, go outside of their normal thinking and make something special happen. I mean, last night's Raw was a great example. It was the 20th anniversary of Raw. They could have done so much with that, and their big thing was again Punk and Rock. And I understand that Rock is the big thing right now because he's coming back. He might win the championship at the Rumble in less than 2 weeks. I hope not. But for the whole show to just be about mostly current storylines and not, look back at the last 20 years except for little bitty snippet clips, that was kind of poorly done. I realized they just had a Raw 1000. They had to look back with the Raw 1000 anniversary special, but it didn't feel like a 20th birthday party. It felt like a just felt like another 3 hour episode of Raw building toward a pay per view that we're not really going to care about. All right. I hope that answered your questions, Greg. I will see you in person in 6 days and no doubt on Facebook here very, very soon. So for now, this is Jeff Meacham saying we will see you Thursday on Best of the Best.